Hello and welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Thursday, March 30th, 2017. I want to read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice, not making any recommendations, always for your further homework. We always start our videos off with a look at the Russell Index, and for that we use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000, and we step back to take a look at it on a 5-year monthly time frame. It's Thursday, there are only 2 trading days left in the month and the quarter, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this monthly candle shapes up in the end. So far so good. We've got a bit of a wick. We've been paying attention to this wedge formation up here, so here's the candle for March, February, January. We want it to stay above this orange line. This is the long-term chart, and our long-term area of support is here, this light blue. We're well above it and paying attention to this area right here. But I always think it's really important to get a reference month to month how the candles look next to each other. So let's move it away from the 5-year monthly to the 1-year weekly and see how price is behaving on that smaller time frame. Here is our orange line of, it's kind of weekly support. Last week it was tested. This week it looks like it wants to reclaim our orange line. I will be happy when I see a confirmation in the following week, next week, when it gets up and over this and clears it entirely. By this I mean this orange line. Or maybe this is just a retest and it fails here. You want to note that this is the area that we need to get through. So we're still in that area of a little bit of chop. But it's encouraging to see it wanting to break through our trend line here and perhaps looking to continue that uptrend. We'll see. That's the weekly. Let's take a look at it on the daily. Here's a 3-month daily. You can see that price is up and over the 8-day EMA, so we'll put a new chart forward today. But this is that area that provided a little bit of difficulty before. So we want to see, that's why I'm saying next week will be more of a confirmation week, at least to me. And so the chart we're going to add to our watch list today is SJW Corp. They are a water utility. They operate in California around the San Jose area, but it's a big public water utility. You know what, Chart of the Day Cafe, it's all about value, and it's got a value score that meets our requirements and a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 15%. It's got a current PE of 19.89 and a dividend yield of 1.83%. So let's get back to the chart. We're looking at the 2-year weekly chart. You can see right away that it's been in this really nice uptrend overall on the 2-year and sitting at this area of support. So I like the way the candles are behaving on the weekly. There's a little bit of a wedge happening here. Should markets continue higher, I wouldn't be too surprised to see this one start to lift in this area. So let's move it away from the weekly to the 6-month daily. It's bouncing around this area. We don't have a 3 and 8 cross yet, but I think it's an interesting one to keep an eye on. So we'll put our little green circle here and say that with a 3 and 8 lift, you know, at Chart of the Day Cafe, it's all about seeing that 3 EMA cross the 8 and move higher. This one would be an interesting one to keep an eye on. We always like to look at the sector that our watch list pick is in, and for that we're going to go to PHO, which is the PowerShares Water ETF. We're looking at it on the 2-year weekly chart. You can see it's in a beautiful uptrend on the 2-year and sitting at this area of prior support and resistance, making its way up and over, so it is now support, and it's looking nice and healthy in this area. We'll see if it can carry on. Worth noting, it's never been higher, so its sky is blue overhead, no overhead resistance. Let's take a look at it on the smaller time frame, on the 6-month. So you can see we're up and over that orange line. We just need to stay above it, but the last few days were fairly positive. So like the sector that SJW is in. We always like to look at FinViz to see if it's got analyst support, and you can see that although it's from last year, SJW has that upgrade, also has some very positive articles, one of which I'm going to include with today's video, talking about the global trend in water and that there is a squeeze between consumption and availability. So it's in a sector that is poised for growth. I will include this article with today's video. And so to review, let's go back and check our boxes. We looked at the Russell Index, the ETF IWM. We can see that the monthly candle is shaping up to be red so far, so the next couple of days are very important. But it has made a valiant effort to reclaim the 8-day EMA, so we are putting a new chart forward. But you want to be careful in this area for sure. The sector that SJW is in, PHO, is in an uptrend on the 2-year chart and looking to be possibly lift off this area, and sky is blue overhead if it does. SJW is in an uptrend on the 2-year chart. It's got a good value score. It's got a forecasted earnings growth rate of 15%, two things that are absolute musts of Chart of the Day Cafe. Current dividend yield of 1.83%. It does not have a 3 and 8 EMA cross yet, so this box is not checked. I could not find a seasonal chart, so it's not checked either, but it has analyst support, currently a Zacks number 2 buy rated stock. PE currently is 19.89, and it looks like earnings will be on April 26th. The reason I'm putting this forward, this chart over others, is the changing story, the growing gap between water consumption and availability. It's a long-term trend story, but it would make sense that should the market continue higher, SJW might start to lift here as well. Just wanted to say I'm away on vacation next week, so I won't be putting out any new videos next week, but we'll resume them the following week. And wanted to say that if you like these videos, please subscribe to our channel by hitting the red subscribe button. And be sure to check out our discussion section where I will endeavor to post little notes at the end of each trading day, Monday through Thursday, on any fresh 3 and 8 crosses. With that, I'll leave you. Have a great weekend and week ahead, and we'll see you the following week.